Hey everyone, and welcome back to a new video. Just voiceover me again today, but hopefully I'm going to be supplementing this with a little bit of video footage of some crafty bits I did over Christmas. I got these really cute little Barbie mugs from Potted and hand painted them and did some really fun, cute little designs. It's actually really nice. I just had some audiobooks on in the background and listened to them while I painted. I listened to The House in the Cerulean Sea, which is a book I read a year or two ago, absolutely loved it, and I decided to listen to the audiobook this time and just found it so comforting, really enjoyed it. And I also started the new sequel to it, listening to that this time instead of reading, which is Beyond the Sea. The second one I'm not quite enjoying as much, but I'm still going to give it a go. It's nice to revisit the characters. I am enjoying it. Anyway, other than that, today we're going to be looking at a couple of Reddit posts because I just thought it would be fun. I haven't done this in a while and I used to quite enjoy these videos. It's fun sometimes to just kind of listen to other people's stories and figure out what we can learn from them, what we can take away, have a talk about like what behavior is okay, what isn't, how do we learn from this, how do we grow and become better people from hearing about other people's experiences, right? These ones I picked out today are Christmas themed, which is always fun, so let's just jump into it and have a read. This one is, am I the bad guy for refusing to help my husband bring Christmas gifts downstairs when he asked me to? Yesterday my husband was upstairs wrapping my Christmas gifts while I was downstairs in the living room. We were planning to leave the house to run an errand and I was already dressed and ready to go. I just finished an 8-hour workday and sat on the couch to relax for a few minutes before leaving. All seems pretty reasonable so far. Great, love it. While upstairs, he called out to me and asked if I could help him bring the gifts down. I told him I don't really feel like doing that right now, but I'll help when we get back from our errand. This upset him, and he insisted I help him immediately. I still declined. Okay, see where the conflict is now. A few minutes later, we left the house. Normally my husband opens the car door for me, something he's always done, but this time he didn't. After we finished our errand, he again didn't open the car door for me. It felt spiteful and it really bothered me. This morning, I brought it up and told him that I didn't appreciate his behavior and that I don't understand why he was so upset that I said I'd help later. He told me that he felt hurt because he always helps me when I ask, even if he doesn't feel like it, and he expected the same from me. I reminded him that I always help him too, but this one time I declined, and it upset him more than I expected. To me, it wasn't urgent, and I was perfectly willing to help when we got back, but now I'm wondering if I was wrong for not helping him in the moment. Maybe I came across as dismissive or inconsiderate, so am I the bad guy for not immediately helping him when he asked? Now, the comments of this were pretty against the woman. They were like, yes, you're absolutely the bad guy 100%, but I don't quite see it that way. I feel like this is one of those situations where everyone involved was very emotional, probably very tired, probably very stressed out. Christmas is a difficult time for everyone, especially when you have kids and gifts and family and all these obligations. Like, it can be really stressful. And what I see reading this is like two people who were just really stressed and really tired and they didn't communicate properly, and they were each, neither of them were really taking the other's needs into account. Like, the woman, she clearly, like, actually I assume it's a woman, could be a man for all we know, it could be two men, but I think it's a woman. She's clearly had like a tough day at work. She wanted to help, but she was like, I just need some time to myself. Let me help you on a different schedule, on a different timeline. And he was like, I have had a stressful day at home. I need to get this done now and I need help with it. And they miscommunicated. That's what I see. I don't think anyone is overtly terrible and was being malicious. I think they were both just stressed and didn't realize exactly what the other person needed, and they were just too focused on their own needs. The husband was like, I need to get this done now to, give me peace of mind. And she was like, I need to relax now or I'm going to be even more stressed out. Both of them were clearly trying to relieve their stress, but, they didn't take the other person's feelings into account. I sometimes wonder why stuff like this is on Reddit, because I'm like, don't you see that you just need to sit down and have like a calm conversation with your partner? But then again, I've also been in those situations where like you get so emotional and you're so worked up that like you don't always see logic. You're just clouded by feelings. So I understand where they're coming from. I think clearly in this case, like, she needed to communicate that like a little clearer without being emotional, like, hey, I need to do this on a different timeline, and he needed to communicate, hey, I need to do this on my timeline, and they should have found a compromise there. But again, when emotions are running high, when you're all stressed, when you're all tired, it's not always that easy, is it? it's easy to see how little things like this get exacerbated into like big issues when you have like, you know, him refusing to open the car door for her being grumpy the next day about it and so on, because like these seemingly little things all build up and then you end up building resentment and stuff if you don't communicate and talk, and it's difficult. I think what I try and take away from stories like this is like the importance of communicating expectations and needs as far in advance as you can. But even that, some people don't like that. So you have to just work with the individuals around you, and it's hard. It's really hard. Interestingly, though, all the comments were really against the woman. So this person says, you know, the original poster's constant repetition of "I just worked an 8-hour day" is sending me. Girl, you didn't run a marathon, you sat at a desk for 8 hours. I feel confident about this guess because if Opie had a physically strenuous job, I'm sure she would have mentioned it in one way, in one of her whiny comments. Help your husband move the presents. Like, yeah, she maybe doesn't, like, you know, she's maybe not building houses or, you know, I don't know, doing something physically strenuous, but mental work can be tiring too. And yes, an 8-hour shift is normal, and I'll often put like far more than 8 hours into a day's work, but that doesn't mean she's not allowed to be tired. Like, I don't know. Another person so this was shared to the Am I the Devil subreddit, which is for people who are apparently overtly the bad guys. And they quoted the original poster saying she made this excuse. I think it was his reaction to me saying no at first that confused me. He got loud and wouldn't accept it when I explained I'm tired and just want to sit here for a few minutes before we leave. Plus my dog was on my lap and it was too comfortable to get up. The person who's posting this says, I'm sure her husband thought it was cold and it was too comfortable to walk over and open the door for this entitled passenger princess. Plus, loading gifts in the car is kind of an annoying task. I've dropped gifts down the stairs plenty of times. That person also then added in, there seems to be a lot going on that's deeper than what's on the surface. Okay, so this is where I might be wrong. There's extra stuff. So the original poster declines her husband's request to help with gifts, I guess bringing them downstairs and loading them. Well, no, because he just wanted to bring them downstairs. They were doing a separate errand. Like, he didn't need to do it immediately. He just wanted to, which is absolutely fair. He's entitled to that. I often just want to do things in the moment, otherwise I'll forget to do them. But anyway, this one says, husband is annoyed and doesn't open original poster's car door. Apparently this is an expectation of hers rather than a nice gesture, because the quote, and then the next morning again she brings it up. That morning I brought it up. The husband is resenting OP for making things of hers expectations and then not returning the favor. OP seems to demand things rather than appreciate them as favors. OP is annoying in the comments, arguing constantly with people. Another one says, truly devil behavior. Am I missing something here? Like, she's not annoyed because she had an expectation. She's annoyed because he's clearly not doing it to show his annoyance at her, and she's upset by that. That's what I'm seeing. And am I just missing something here? Wild. Another person says, wow, what a martyr complex this woman has. She always does everything except for this one time. Yeah, right. He's not allowed to be irritated that she wouldn't help him because she basically couldn't be bothered, but she gets to be all upset because he mirrored her attitude right back at her. I am just getting the sense that Reddit hates women from this. Like, I think they're both a little in the wrong, but both of their feelings are completely understandable. This is just a miscommunication. This isn't a... Like, look, they're both behaving like bad guys, but she sounds like one of those people who are noisily performative about how much they do for everyone around them as a way of being controlling, so they can launch into a poor, unappreciated little me guilt-tripping routine when they don't get their own way. Where was any of that in her post? Am I just missing this? Am I crazy? I don't know. According to her post history, she has a teen daughter who works at Dunkin' Donuts. She says her husband has always opened the car door for her since they were dating. Okay, this sort of thing is annoying. You just know it started off as a gentlemanly gesture, but she came to expect and then demand it. He doesn't do it one time and she gets annoyed. She sounds exhausting. No, she's upset because he's doing it out of annoyance. Like, she wanted a break, he wanted help, they miscommunicated, so he got grumpy with her, so she got upset by it. Why are they focused so much on this car door thing? It's not about the car door, it's about the fact that he was actively showing annoyance to her. That's what she's upset about. I feel like this is the Reddit tendency to just blame the women and be mad at the women and make women out to be the bad guys. Like, that's what I'm seeing here. Ultimately, I don't think either of them were necessarily completely wrong. It was just a miscommunication of two stressed people that got really blown out of proportion. And now Reddit are like, see, women are terrible. Wild. Actually, just before we do move on, I just took Cara down for a little toilet break, and I was having a think while I was down there. And like, the thing is, again, it's not right, and it's not that she's like, oh, I'm entitled to this thing. It's the fact that, like, as a partner, this was an act of service he used to show his love and affection for her. It was an act of kindness, and now he's withholding it. I think it's not that she's entitled to that love and kindness from him. It's that, of course, she's upset that he doesn't want to show that, It's like, I'm trying to think of like any other example. Like, okay, let's say my parents, right? Every year for Christmas, they do a thing where they give me, my brother and sister, and like our partners. Like this year it was like Warren's wife and Sarah Jane's wife. They give us all like a bottle of something nice to drink, like whatever our favorite is. So for Rachel, she doesn't drink at all, so they give her like really nice like juices and stuff like that. And then they give us like a box of chocolates or something to eat. So they give us again like our favorite chocolates. So for me, I always love Maltesers, so they give me a giant massive box of Maltesers, and they get me like a nice bottle of Pinot Grigio because they know that's one of my favorite wines. And there's no obligation for them to gift us those things, but they do it, and they pick out like a specific bottle for each of us and a snack for each of us that they know is our favorite, because they do that to show like love and thoughtfulness, right? They're under no obligation to do that. But let's say, imagine one Christmas, like, I don't know, my brother did something to annoy them, and all of a sudden they were like, no, actually, we're going to withhold this. Nothing for you. Like, again, they're not under an obligation to give their son a gift, but the fact that they're now withholding it is a bit like, I think he has every right to be upset about that, Because they're actively making a choice to say, I'm not going to do something nice for you. And again, it's not an obligation, but the fact they're withholding it is meaningful. And I think that's what we can say about the husband here. Of course, he's under no obligation to open the car door for her, but the fact that he's always done it to show his love and affection for her, and now he's choosing to withhold that, is meaningful, And like, this isn't to say that he should have done it. It's just that he has every right to be upset with her, and she has every right to be upset about it. Like, why? I don't get why people aren't seeing both sides here. I feel like I'm going a little bit crazy. Okay, let's move on to another story. This one is called, Today I Messed Up, Blacking Out at My Wife's Work Christmas Party. Oh god, there's going to be some chaos here. Okay, obligatory, it happened on Saturday. Cool. Oh, and this one has some edits. So my wife has an annual Christmas party at a fairly fancy place, a resort/spa. We're all provided a hotel room for the night, great banquet with good food and drinks, semi-open bar style. I get along with all her co-workers and have gotten to know them over the years. It's usually a pretty chill occasion and always ends up with one or two people drinking a little too much. Typical holiday party stuff. That was me this year. Throughout the night I was told and reminded not to smoke any weed. Weed and alcohol are a very bad combo for me, and I even promised I wouldn't. See, this is a little bit of a red flag to me straight up. Like, if you have to be reminded to not take a substance, this means you maybe either have a problem with it, a dependency on it, or like, you behave so badly on it that it's just a massive red flag. Okay. Things were going fine. Dinner was delicious, and drink tickets just kept appearing in front of me. I had a hefty buzz on. Well, after dinner and too many drinks, I stepped out and took... Oh, for God's sake. I stepped out and took a few puffs. That's where things went sideways, or black, I should say. I only remember a few little memories, but I guess I was being loud and a total doo-doo head. Made a fool of myself and said dumb stuff, etc. The beans got spilled that I smoked, and my wife was livid. I think I even tried to lie about it right then and there as well. Oh God, see, another red flag. The lying. The not owning up to your mistakes. I'm just going to jump in here and say, like, I think everyone messes up occasionally, right? I've had too much to drink and been silly and, like, blacked out a little bit, or, like, thrown up in the street. Not proud of it, but I think everyone messes up occasionally. But I think if people are actively pointing out that, hey, you have a problem with this or these substances, they make you act poorly, can you not take them because you will act poorly? And then you take them, act poorly, and then lie about it. Like, that's just not okay. You've already identified that this is a problem. You've been asked to not indulge in the problem, and then you choose to. Like, that's your fault, you know? Yeah. I feel like people making mistakes and being silly when, you know, you don't, you know, maybe you accidentally skipped a meal and forgot about it and drank too much, or maybe you were, I don't know, given like a pill and it was something you didn't think it was. Well, I don't know. I don't really take drugs, so I don't really know much about it. But you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there are genuine mistakes, and if someone gets drunk and a bit silly once, that's forgivable, you know? You work on it, you move on, you're fine. But it seems like this is a repeated pattern of behavior that he just keeps indulging in even when people ask him not to, and that's a sign of a massive problem, you know? Okay, so he's lied, or tried to lie. After that, she went to bed, and I think I stayed up and kept drinking for a little while. Of course, because that's the sensible thing to do. Your problem is you're drinking, so you keep drinking. I woke up to her cussing me out, annoyed and angry. It's been 4 days and she still won't talk to me, claims that she doesn't want to fix things, and says she doesn't even want to live here anymore. Guys, I messed up bad. I'm in a bad state and so mad at myself, can't focus at work, and I don't know how to proceed. One thing I do know is that I have a problem with drinking. I'm fine having one or two, if that's all there is, but if presented with unlimited drinks, I won't stop until I wake up the next day. I would gladly give it all up to make everything better, even my beloved, I assume that's his wife. I really upset her though, and it may be past the point of fixing. I know this isn't the advice sub, but I could use some. Yeah, so this is an issue, because, like, he acknowledges he's got a problem but won't do anything to fix it. She knows he's got a problem and has asked him to do some work and he won't. Like, and the fact that she's now like, I'm done, I want to leave, that just says this is an ongoing problem. This is the final straw for her. This has happened again and again and again, you know? We do have some updates that say, I didn't bring any weed. We live in a legal state and probably 25% of the people there smoke and was smoking. I just ended joining up in a group, odd word, and her work doesn't care as long as people are making an effort to hide it. Also, everyone smokes those stupidly potent pens. Wife has done it at past parties, and she was the one to get wasted, wow, and end up running around in her underwear. Okay. She got a talking to, but now is one of the higher ups, so her job really isn't in jeopardy. There were 2 or 3 others that got crappy as well. It happens every year. We don't even keep beer or alcohol at home, not because it doesn't last, because we really don't even drink that often unless we're having a birthday or occasional summer barbecue. But again, if you know you have an issue with it, don't be around your triggers. Like, surely that's one of the big things. I don't know, it's so hard because, like, when people have substance abuse issues, it's really hard to blame them for what they do. But at the same time, when they know they have an issue and won't do anything to fix it and won't get any help and won't ask for help, that's incredibly frustrating. You know, it's very difficult. Some of the commenters say, I'm guessing she's not just annoyed about this incident, but this might be the one she can't come back from. If you got loud and became a total annoying person, I'm going to venture a guess that this is not the first time it's happened. She's probably just tired of it all. Yeah, exactly this. Another person says, this is the answer. She didn't go through such a deliberate effort to ask for your respect beforehand because something might go sideways this one time. You knew in your heart of hearts that you wanted to get high more than honor her wishes, and you wouldn't have taken your kit. What does that even mean? I don't know what that means. I'm not. I don't. Is it like a smoking thing? I don't know. I don't smoke. Your only hope is not beg. Your only hope is to not beg for forgiveness, but earn it by turning your whole life around in some big steps. Absolutely true there. Yes. And I think that's the thing. The fact that she asked him to do this, he promised, and then he just went, you know, completely the other way, did what she didn't want him to do, and then tried to lie about it. That just says to me that he doesn't respect her, and that clearly this addiction issue is, I guess, like, more important to him. He values it more than his wife and his relationship. And until he gets a hold on that, he's not going to have a good relationship, clearly. It's hard. It's really, really hard. Yeah, so I guess what we can take away from this is try listening to the people around you, respect their wishes. If you need help, ask for help. If you know you have triggers like this, stay away from them. This idea that, like, I can have 1 or 2 drinks, that's fine, but then, like, you can't because you just get carried away. That's a bit of a red flag. That's a warning sign right there. And the other thing I think we can take away from this is, like, if you relate to the wife in this situation and you feel like a substance issue is ruining your relationship with someone, they're not respecting you because of it, I do think it is. And this might be hard for some people to hear, but, like, I think it's absolutely okay to walk away from that. Because ultimately, like, yes, substance abuse issues are very serious, and you can't necessarily blame a person for having them, but that doesn't mean you have to keep them in your life if it's damaging you, your health, your reputation, your well-being. Like, you don't have to stay with someone if it's hurting you. And I think that's an important thing to remember. Okay, we've got a final post, and this is quite a long one. This is in the Best of Reddit Updates subreddit, so I don't actually have an original title for this, annoyingly, but I do have the original post, and I have some updates added to it, and a whole bunch of stuff. It's quite long. Let's jump into this. Again, it's Christmas, well, it's Thanksgiving themed, which is all the same time period-ish. It's like all within a month, right? I don't know, I'm English. Okay, so me, 32 female, my mother, 60 female, hosts Thanksgiving dinner at her house every year. It's a small event with my parents, me, my brother's family, and my sister-in-law's family attending. That sounds kind of big, but okay. We avoid family quarrels by implementing a strict no politics rule and try our best to be civil. Probably a good idea. I should probably mention that we are not a particularly close-knit family. We rarely see each other beyond these events since my brother lives in South Africa and I travel a lot due to my work. Thanksgiving is important to my mum since it's one of the rare times we're all together. So it doesn't say where this family lives, but I'm assuming if they're celebrating Thanksgiving, it's America. I'm right? Nowhere else celebrates it. It's an American thing, yeah? Okay. Anyway, the main problem I have with my mother is her constant critique of me. She has a habit of making passive-aggressive comments about my life choices, from my career to my lack of children to the way I dress. I've addressed this with her multiple times, but she doesn't really seem aware of it. My father claims it's just her way of fussing and expressing that she cares. I'm jumping in right here. If someone says, the way you're speaking to me makes me uncomfortable, I don't care if you were saying it from a good place, or if it's because you care, or because you look like, just don't do it. Just don't do it. I mean, okay, there's some exceptions, like if you're pointing out someone's health problems, or I don't know, or if they're like committing a crime or something, you want to point that out. But like on the whole, if someone says to you, you're making me upset, you're making me uncomfortable, you can't be like, but I'm just doing it because I care, so I'm going to carry on doing it and carry on upsetting you. Because if you really cared about them, you wouldn't want to upset them with your words. Just saying. Okay. It does hurt though, well, of course it does, yeah. Because my brother is never criticised in the same manner. Yeah, because he's the golden child. My brother's the same in our family. Yeah. I cannot entirely fault her for her criticism since I did majorly mess up my life a few months ago with depression, and it's affected her opinion of me negatively. But it does not excuse the way I act. It does not excuse why I acted, but I just want to explain why I left. Ooh. By the time we finished dinner, I was a bit prickly because of some of her commentary. I made a cake for dessert. I was explicitly put in charge of it, and no one specified exactly what I should make, so I opted for a maple cheesecake. Sounds good, cool. I did my best, and I think it looked okay. Mum normally makes pumpkin pie, but I really hate pumpkins. They make me gag, so I thought perhaps we could try something new. As I was bringing out the cheesecake, my mum eyed it somewhat warily and announced she decided to make the usual pie as well. Ugh. Undermining her, great. This caught me off guard. I asked why she didn't tell me beforehand, and she said something like, well, we figured you'd do your own thing, so I just thought it was best to have a backup. She went, oh, I hate this. I hate this mother. Sorry. Do not like. She went on to cut the pie and serve it to everyone, instructing me to leave the cheesecake in the kitchen. When someone asked to try my dessert, she said, let's not mix too many flavors of, oh my god, this is so rude, which just felt like passive aggressive. It's more than passive aggressive. Come on. I know it's immature for an adult to get this upset over a triviality, but I just politely refused as she was handing me a slice of pie, retrieved my coat and left. People were calling me after, I think, but by that point I was crying for some reason. Oh, of course you were crying, love. And it would have been too humiliating to have an emotional outburst in front of everyone for no reason. My mum just texted me saying that it was incredibly rude and immature of me to leave like that, especially on Thanksgiving. My brother also sent me a message saying I'm acting irrationally. I feel horrible for leaving so abruptly, especially because my parents are getting older and we're already not close. Something about my mother seems to turn me into a neurotic teenager. There's a really, really sad... so one commenter here said, I know this is painful to accept, but it doesn't sound like your family likes you. And the opening post replied with, I wish they could pretend to, at least during the holidays. Oh, that breaks my little heart. Bless her. Yeah, this isn't about the pie. This is about the mother being controlling, being more than just passive-aggressive, undermining everything she does. I would be upset by this too. This is horrible behaviour. I'm entirely on this woman's side here. I really am. She did nothing wrong. And I think she was completely within her right to leave. I know some people are like, oh, they're your family, you have to stick by them no matter what. But I'm like, no. Sometimes you need to cut people out of your life if they're treating you badly. That is absolutely okay. Okay, so there was an update on the 13th of December, which said, hello. Since I always wonder what happened to the people who post on here, I thought I'd give a brief update. When I wrote that post, I was mentally in a pretty dark place. Of course you were, bless you. I think I needed someone, even if it was a stranger on the internet, to validate my feelings and listen. And commenters on here did listen and took the time to write advice that made me think, so thank you. Most of you were right. My post was not really about the pumpkin pie or cheesecake. Yeah. The underlying tension between me and my mother has always expressed itself through fights over trivialities and long silences. Many of you ask me why I, as a 30-year-old woman, still go to these events. But yeah, it's hard. Sometimes you don't know that you can leave. You don't know that you can turn it down. It takes a lot of people a long time to get there. I was, 26, 27 before I stopped going to Christmas with my family because I couldn't deal with that stuff. Sometimes it takes you a while to get there. I don't think her age has anything to do with it. It's about where she is emotionally. Anyway, I've asked myself the same question and realised there's no reason for me to be there. Good on her. My brother and I do not get on. We never have. And my mother's brought this onto herself. I'll be spending Christmas elsewhere. Oh, good for you, love. However, I feel like my post might have portrayed my mother in an unfair light. I know it does not matter since you're here to judge a conflict and not a person, but some of the comments seem to assume my mum to be nasty and a mean bully. She's not. She can be very kind and very generous and has done a lot of good for people through her work. She's also terrible expressing emotion, frustrated by retirement and herself, and had a very difficult childhood. Our relationship has not always been this bad, and I too have been cruel to her in the past. Yeah, but that still doesn't excuse the fact she's making you feel so bad now. Yes, see things from both sides, sure, but you don't need to put yourself in an uncomfortable position just because, someone else had a bad childhood, In regards to the actual quarrel, I've sent only a short response to my brother since Thanksgiving, ignoring mum's texts. She called yesterday and seems to be hellbent on buying me new shoes. She rarely apologises. I'm not strong enough to keep hoping she changes. I will address this topic of my childhood with my therapist. Good on her. This is definitely something you need to go through in therapy. Okay, so in summary, what can we learn from this story? Well, just because it's your family doing something, that doesn't mean you have to put up with it. Just because someone says they're doing something out of love and care, that doesn't mean they are. And again, you are more than within your rights to say if something is upsetting you or making you uncomfortable. If you're in a situation where you don't feel comfortable, or you feel unsafe, or you feel hurt, or you feel hurt in some way, then it is absolutely okay for you to leave. It really, really is. It really, really is. Family trauma and the stuff associated with that doesn't just go away with time. And as you get older, it can get worse and it can be exacerbated. And it is really useful to go and work through a lot of that stuff in therapy and get some help with it, because you're not the only person going through it. You are absolutely not alone, and therapy will be able to help you. I'm glad that this one had not necessarily a happy ending, but at least an optimistic ending where it feels like she's in a better place. She's going to be in a better place. She's going to go do some healing. She's going to go work through some of these issues she has with her parents. And there are solutions and ways to make this better, and for her to feel better about herself. So I think that's really good. But yeah, they're just my thoughts. Let me know if you disagree with me on anything down in the comments. Let me know what your interpretations of these stories were. And yeah, let me know as well if there's any other posts you'd like me to talk about or react to or read or discuss or whatever. For now, thank you so much for listening. I have a few more of these Reddit videos I'm going to record today, which is going to be fun, so you'll see them posted over the next few days, and I really hope you enjoy them. But for now, yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for still supporting my content. And I hope to, well, maybe not see you again soon, because I don't know when I'm going to be back on camera. But if not see you, then I hope you'll be back again soon. Hope to hear from you again soon. Yeah, all that good stuff. So I'll see you soon. Have a lovely new year and everything.